The second DLC for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the Indigo Disk, is releasing in less than a month, and we have some early insights in some of the new and returning moves coming to Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, and some of these are game-changing for the competitive scene. So let's take a look at these new moves and the returning ones, and the impact they could have on the singles metagame. We have an article from Cerebi, as they had some early access time on the new DLC. Obviously, there will be spoilers here, so if you don't want to see those, you should probably not watch this video. Anyway, I'm not gonna go over the whole article. This is basically a article about the DLC itself, the terrarium, the area, the battles, and some performance, etc. We're just gonna go over this part. I'm gonna go over some Pokemon that would greatly benefit from this. So, as they are saying right here, there are some new technical machines that are being introduced in the Indigo Disk. There's a mix of returning moves, STMs, such as Expanding Force, Triple Axle, Skitter Smack, Meteor Beam, Breaking Swipe, Scorching Sands, Curse, Coaching, Electro Web, and even more. As well as some new moves, including the world's reveals of Upper Hand and Psychic Noise. These were already revealed in a trailer a couple months ago, if I remember correctly. Upper Hand, if you don't know, is basically, it's a fighting type attack. It's a priority move that has priority over other priority moves. So, from what I remember, it's a priority move that can counter other priority moves. And it also flinches. Psychic Noise is a psychic attack that is kind of like heal block. It does damage, but it also prevents the user from healing. I don't know if it's also items that prevent it from healing, but I know that the user or the target will unable to use healing moves for I think 3 turns. So yeah, those are new moves already confirmed. As well as some other new moves like Supercharged Cell and Hard Press. Nothing about Supercharged Cell, but Hard Press is a steel move which does more damage the higher the target's hit points. So basically a steel version of the move Body Press. Body Press obviously does more damage depending on the user's defense stat, but this seems to be based off the HP stat, which is very interesting. So we're gonna go over some Pokemon that will greatly benefit over these moves. So obviously the first Pokemon we have to talk about, Weavile. Weavile was one of the best Pokemon in Gen 8, and it gaining Triple Axle could potentially let it rise up to the OU tier. It's already a decent choice right now because it got knockoff back, but in Gen 8, Triple Axle knockoff, very hard to switch into. Now it has Icicle Crash as it's the best move it uses. You could also go for Icicle Spear with loaded dice, but then you cannot run heavy duty boots. So if this does gain Triple Axle back, I'm assuming it's gonna gain it back. We could potentially see Weavile rise to the OU tier. The only thing stopping it right now, 2 main factors. King Gambit, of course. If you want to hit King Gambit, you're forced to run low kick, which means you're either not running one of your steps or you're not running Priority Ice Shard. Also Iron Valiant, being able to outspeed Weavile and 1-hit KO it. Also not nice. Same goes for Iron Moth, another Pokemon very common. So the meta is not very fitted for Weavile right now, and I think King Gambit being at the top really hurts it a lot. But we might see Weavile being a very solid choice if it does gain Triple Axle back. So yeah, that's a pretty obvious Pokemon. Another Pokemon, not an OU tier Pokemon, but Eternatus gaining back Meteor Beam could potentially see it using more offensively oriented sets again. This was a set you would see in Gen 8 Ubers. Basically Meteor Beam plus Power Herb gives it that instant special attack boost, of course. And you had your steps and Flamethrower's coverage, pretty good set. But obviously you cannot use it yet. A Moltres gaining Scorching Sands back gives it a way to hit a Pokemon like Heatran. It's not an OU tier Pokemon, but it does have a niche in the tier. Scorching Sands might be a potential move you could see on Moltres for it to hit Pokemon, like I said, like Heatran. I want to talk about Corvik Knight next, and that new Hard Press move. Now, it's unknown which Pokemon obviously gain this new move, at least as far as I'm aware. But I can see Corviknight getting this move. It already has body press. But hard press, I think it's called, could potentially be a decent option on this Pokemon. It does have a very high HP stat. If you max it out, it goes to 400. So imagine using a Pokemon with 400 attack. That's basically what you're gonna be having if you're using hard press. So if it does gain hard press, could potentially be a good option on this Pokemon. Steel coverage tends to be lackluster though. A lot of Pokemon don't actually use steel moves as coverage. There are very few that actually do, and even then it's quite niche. So we're gonna have to see if it's actually worth it. But Corviknight does have that steel step, so it might be an option on this Pokemon. Gives it a great way to exert some offensive pressure. Also, as a side note, little gift for y'all watching. I've heard that Excadrill is returning with the DLC as well. It's not gonna be benefiting from these moves, but that's exciting news to me at least. And if you have played OU singles for some time, that might be some exciting news for you too, especially if you are a Tyranitar fan. Anyway, these are the only Pokemon I could think of right now that would benefit from these moves returning. There might be Pokemon returning that could also benefit from this. I have not looked into that much. Pretty difficult to find. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about these moves returning, Pokemon that I might have forgotten about that could benefit from this. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.